Don't worry, everybody. China's not going to steal your gold coins.
I mean, they might be. Like I said before, maybe they're doing that, but the point is that they already have that. They already got your information. It's not anything to do with the Epic Store or Nintendo partnering with Tencent in China, because Tencent already owns all these other companies, portions of all these other companies. They got their information. They already got it.
They already got your gold coins.
They already got your gold coins. You know what? I'm going to sell your information to China. I speak Chinese. 你好,我会说中文. I'm going to sell your information. I don't care. I need to make that paper. I need to make that yuan. Hello, my beautiful Tanooki suit-wearing Goombas. Welcome to the Nintendo Everything Podcast, episode 28. I am your host, Oni Dino. With me, I have a Koopa Troopa who can't fit into the Tanooki suit. It's Galen.
Whoa, I shouldn't have had that extra 1-up mushroom.
Probably you had the red mushroom.
Maybe. Or maybe the yellow and red one? Or is it yellow and red or orange and red? What's the mega mushroom?
Oh yeah, it's yellow and red, I think.
Okay.
Or orange, depending on your color blindness.
I'm going to play the safe bet and say orange.
Vote in the comments below. I'm not going to put a vote thing. I don't even know how to do that.
Send us all of your chonky Tanookis.
Oh yeah, we need the thick Tanooks.
Oh god.
Give me them thick Tanooks.
Oh, this is already off to a great start.
So I hear a bunch of you have been unsubscribing from a certain YouTuber lately, me included. So you have an empty slot open in your subscription, so why don't you subscribe to Nintendo Everything Podcast on your listening platform of choice, such as iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and a huge list more. We're on all of them. We're over there.
Nice.
Because neither Galen nor I will solicit pictures to underage fans of ours, unlike someone else, so you can rest assured that your subscription is safe with us.
Yes? Like, was that ever a question?
That certainly came out... Okay, we're talking about Pro Jared. That came out of nowhere, right? Like, I guess... I don't know, I was surprised. Not like I knew a bunch about the guy, but I mean... Sometimes that's in question, I guess. And Galen and I will go on the record right now. Not happening. Canceled. So subscribe to us because we are wholesome, damn it. So, what is up in this episode? We're going to be talking about Devil May Cry coming to the Nintendo Switch. We'll also be talking about some of Nintendo's E3 plans that they recently announced. And then lots of Nintendo of Japan President Furukawa comments on cloud gaming, improving Switch Online, also why Nintendo is partnering with Tencent to release Nintendo Switch in China, and so much more. There's a bunch of different odd things. So let's talk about what we've been playing this week in our adventure log. Galen, you put your money where your mouth is, and you got Phoenix Wright Trilogy recently, didn't you?
Absolutely I did.
Well, tell me about it, Galen.
Yeah, I picked up Phoenix Wright Trilogy, been playing through that. The wife and I have gotten through the first game of the trilogy. We actually just beat it last night. And
wow.
Yeah, we've been going at it pretty hard on that one. Like,
that's staying in.
No, it's I was actually really surprised how invested she was getting in the storyline with it, and I really appreciated it because we talked about this a little bit last week, where I wish that I could relive some of the moments and relive some of the, like, shocking, oh my god, he's actually the killer, like those fresh moments of experiencing it for the first time. I got to live vicariously through her with that, so I really appreciated that. And I gotta be honest, there might have been a couple of times when I was like, I knew what the answer was, so I gave like subtle hints as to well, we need to prove that this person is the killer. What evidence do we have that might be able to show that? And just kind of like give subtle hints along the way. So
I'm sure it was not so subtle knowing you.
Well, some of them, yes, some of them, not so much.
And so how did your wife take it?
You know, I imagine, I've never been part of one of these, but I imagine this is what like a book club is like, in a sense. Like, it's really weird, but just experiencing something that is so narrative driven and something that is so heavy on the plot more than anything else. Because, let's face it, there's not a whole lot of gameplay to the game itself. But kind of working through the mystery of what actually is happening here. And my favorite thing is when she just kind of randomly leans over and is just like, so he's the killer, right? And I'm like, I don't know. And I just have to say straight face the entire time.
You do not have a poker face.
I try very hard. I've gotten a lot better at it since we last played poker together. Have we ever actually played poker?
No, I don't know how to play that. I've played strip poker once and I lost all my clothes. Also, I have a feeling your wife knows you better than I do, especially in terms of your usual mannerisms. So I'm sure she can see right through you. She's a smart cookie.
I don't know. There were a couple times that she like guessed the entire plot like on her third guess. And I was like, well, it's a pretty complicated case. That would be a pretty interesting twist. And then she came up with another guess that was completely different like 3 or 4 minutes down the line.
Well, that is exciting. You get to live vicariously through her.
Yeah, and you know what? I was really worried that I was going to be a little bit bored going through it the second time because it's like I said before, it's like rereading a mystery novel. There might be some fun parts in it, but you kind of know what's going on. So much of the game is focusing on those little details, and it was like, okay, so you found this knife in a muffler of a car. What does this mean? And I'm like, oh crap, I don't remember this exact detail.
Well, that's
Hang on,
good.
let me actually work this out myself. So, no, I really liked it. And another thing, I was really interested to see how they brought over some of the Nintendo DS elements.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Game was originally, of course, came out for... Was it a phone game first, or did it come out for the Game Boy Advance?
I think the first game was Game Boy Advance.
I want to say you're right. But it came out for the Game Boy Advance, and then when they brought it for the Nintendo DS, they added a case to the very first game that, like, the length of the first, like, 3 cases put together or something like that. But they added a lot of DS features to the case itself, such as tapping on the touchscreen to lay down fingerprint dust to dust for fingerprints, or you are using a spray to try to look for blood at a crime scene. You know, it just kind of gimmicky stuff like that, but I was very interested how that was going to translate it over to the Switch, especially because we had it docked. We didn't have the touchscreen available to actually use that for. And it, you know, came over quite well. I don't think there was much of a hindrance there in any sense. But what I also noticed is that they started to actually throw in some references, some like very subtle Easter eggs to upcoming cases. I can't remember, it's either in the second game or the third game. There's a case where you have to interrogate it's a very flamboyant chef who's like all dressed up in pink, and he like sticks his chest out and shakes around when he's like all flustered, and it's a very gimmicky character. But you don't meet him until the second or third game. Well, in the first game, you actually see flyers of his just like casually handed out or laying on a desk or something, and those were not in the original version.
Oh, that's really fun.
You get a glimpse inside the locker of one of the characters, and you're like, hey, there's a picture up there. I never noticed that picture before. And then you realize it's a character in like the third game.
That's really great because that adds replay value to people just like you who have already played these games and they know the plot.
You know who the characters are, and you know like what's surprising you. So
Awesome.
I will also say that I started to get my cases confused a little bit because I think the third case you are dealing with like a murder at a movie studio. And what's funny is in the second game, you actually are talking to the same exact person who's also accused again of murder at a movie studio. It's just a different flow to how the case actually goes. It's a different outcome. And it was really funny because I was expecting, like, okay, I know this evidence is coming up. Where is it? Why? I want to point this out, but I can't. What's going on here? I found a lot of the times I was kind of getting my head ahead of myself when I was thinking of, okay, this is going to be the answer that we need to press. It was a good exercise to kind of slow down and think about, okay, what is it that you're actually asking right now? As opposed to, okay, I know what the end answer is, let's just get to it. So it was nice. It was very refreshing.
Refreshments.
Yeah.
Que refresca.
I can honestly say this has probably been one of my most enjoyable experiences replaying a game before.
That's lovely. And you get to spend quality time with your wife, too. How lovely.
Absolutely. And she sent no distress calls that I know of.
Girl, seriously, that distress call thing, still on the table. If you need help, you dial ONI.
Well, ONI, what have you been playing this past week?
So before I jump into that, though, I want to say, because you said about book club things, that reminded me how much I have been thinking about this idea. In the future, I would really like to do a gaming book club, which is a dumb way to describe it, but whatever, it's the first thing that I can think of right now that makes sense. Basically, instead of a book, you're playing a game with a community of people. And for example, Final Fantasy VII, because that's on the mind because that trailer just came out recently.
Yeah.
So say we're all playing Final Fantasy VII and we're like, okay, this week we're going to keep playing and we're going to get to Calm of the game, which is a town. So everybody keeps playing the game and they get to Calm, and then, you know, they put down their thoughts, and then we get together on the weekend and then we all talk about the characters and what happened in the story up to that point, and then we break and we say, okay, we're going to get to this point and move on from there. I would love to do something like that. I really want to put something like that together in the future.
That's actually a lot of fun. I really like that idea. Yeah. Nice.
So actually, I mean, since we're on the topic, all of you listening, if you're interested in something like that, send us an email or leave a comment or tweet at us, or I don't know, get in touch with us somehow. I want to do that. So anyway, for what I have been playing this week, I played some more Yoshi's Crafted World. I am getting towards the end of it, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I've been playing that game a lot. And plus I was on a flight recently, so I had lots of time to play that. I am quite surprised because the game has a little bit of challenge to it and it's fun. And there's some stages that it's like, ooh, this is quite challenging, but it's refreshing because there's easy ones and challenging ones.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm going for like 100% completion because it's just really fun to collect everything in that game.
And very cute.
Oh, it's so cute and so beautiful. It's so well crafted. And there's jokes in this episode, everybody. It really is such a true puzzle platformer. I love looking through the stages, kind of like a game of I Spy, where you're looking for, okay, where is the mouse with the little hat or whatever, because you're looking for that for the guy. And it's so much fun playing the stages backwards too and seeing things in new different ways. So much fun. I love looking at my environments. It's a huge thing for me in video games.
That's pretty cool.
But what I wanted to say is that, like, I think I'm on the last world right now. I'm not super sure. Forgot what the world is called. It's really showing its cardboard fangs in this last level. I've been like going through the levels. Yeah. I've been going through the levels and like dying a few times. And I'm like, what is this difficulty spike? I actually had to like put it down for a second because I was like, of course I play that game to kind of chill out and relax and have a good time. And it was not doing that for me on that last couple of levels I was playing. I was like, okay, I need to play this when I have like some more concentration in my brain.
So you're telling me the game gave you a couple of paper cuts? Oh, come on!
No, it was good. It was good. It's just that mine was better. What did I say?
You see, I can't even remember. It was, that should be a statement on its own.
Yeah, you're right.
Cardboard fangs aside.
Yeah, cardboard cuts. Oh God, have you gotten a cardboard cut before instead of a paper cut?
Yes.
It is awful, like legitimately awful. I would rather be cut with a knife.
So, a bit of a sidetrack. Last year, I was actually running a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and wanting to, I don't know, impress my play party or whatever. I was actually being the DM. I went all out and actually got like a ring of wrapping paper that had like the 1 inch like square grid on it, and would glue that to some cardboard and then cut the cardboard out to make the dungeons that they would actually be going in. And I got so into it that I actually made it a modular thing where I could take different pieces of the cardboard that I had cut out and put it into different shapes for different dungeons that they were going in. And I can tell you, cardboard cuts suck.
I'm so surprised that you don't have a Nintendo Labo. You are all about gadgets and things like that.
I like being crafty. Like, that's fun to me.
So the last thing I wanted to say is that the boss battles in this game are mostly underwhelming and kind of par for the course, but there was one great one. And I was like, whoa, is this the same game? This is so much fun. It was a train one. And then there was another one that I did like too, but I actually forgot what it was. So it clearly didn't impress me that much, but it did feel better than the others. But the train one is excellent. It was very interactive, lots of things to balance. It wasn't super hard, but it was a good challenge. And I like that a lot. So I'm looking forward to the ending boss battle, hoping that one's going to be a good one.
I did also see your tweet that you had sent out recently in regards to playing the game.
Oh God, which one? I've been tweeting a lot lately. Follow me on Twitter at Oni_Dino.
No, it was with your boss fight against Bert.
Oh, yeah. That one's a little NSFW, so probably I won't mention it. I try and keep things somewhat clean here. Like a rag that's been washed several times, so it's lost its luster, but it's still kind of white. It's off-white. That's the level of clean I like to keep on this show.
Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter for nonsense. Speaking of nonsense, let's talk about some news.
Devil May Cry.
The time has come, and so have I, for Devil May Cry 1 for Nintendo Switch.
Isn't that supposed to be like the Soul Calibur start?
What?
What?
No! Soul Calibur is way more serious, which is weird because that game is like goofy. God, I used to remember what it was because it would play on Startup. I used to play Soul Calibur 2 and 3 all the time.
A Tale of Souls and Swords.
Yeah, there you go.
Like something like that.
Yeah. Like each time it was different, but it was like so serious.
Mm-hmm.
It was so serious that it became stupid.
I couldn't get past the third game because I got way too invested in the character creation.
Me too. I created so many people.
I made so many characters. That's what catches me for a good game. It's just like hours upon hours of just like, hey, I just want to make this person. I don't even care if I'm good at the game. Anyway, Devil May Cry.
Yeah, so The Time Has Come and So Have I is the opening lyric to one of the songs from DMC4. And it's terrible.
Oh, I remember that song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the whole series is just edgelord nonsense everything, and including the songs.
I'm picking up what you're trying to spray down.
Spray down? What?
It was a little like out there. It's just like bleh reference.
Reference to what?
The fourth game.
Spray?
Yeah.
Devil May Cry is not a series about gardening. What are you talking? Spray? What? Explain yourself.
Nope, not gonna happen.
You don't have an explanation, do you?
We're moving on.
Mm-hmm. Damn right we are. Anyway, Devil May Cry 1 was announced for Switch. It's coming out this summer, according to Capcom. This is weird. This is some nonsense because there is a trilogy of DMC 1, 2, which we don't talk about, and 3 that's on PS3, 360, PS4, Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it just one?
At least we're not getting the third game randomly thrown in before all the others. I'm looking at you, Assassin's Creed.
Sure, but
Actually, Devil May Cry 3 is pretty good. And it's weird because it's a prequel, so technically that would, come before all the others?
yeah, exactly. So in this situation,
The third
eat your
game.
words, because the third one would be great.
Capcom, obviously you're not doing what Ubisoft is doing, so...
So, I mean, the third game is where the series really hit its stride, so the third game's great. And the first game is worth playing for sure. There's some real rough edges on that game because it's quite the relic. God, when did that come out? 2004, maybe?
2004 sounds about right.
Oh, God. End of 2001.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This game is like 18 years old.
Wow, I just recognized my own age. I'm so old.
Yes. So honestly, what I do is oh, that feels about 7 or 8 years ago. And then I take that, what it feels like, and then I add 10. That's basically what I do these days. So anyway, this is coming to Switch just digitally, and we don't know the price yet. That's what everybody is a bit contentious on. They are upset that this isn't the trilogy, and so they're like, well, then this better be extremely cheap. Capcom is not known for doing things extremely cheap. Their pricing is all over the place. We talked about this before, but the Resident Evil games that are coming to Switch really soon, those are all $30 US, which is way too much. Those should all be $20 US. Then Dragon's Dogma came to Switch recently, and that was $30. That was a fantastic price for that.
Mm-hmm.
So this game, in my opinion, better be $15 tops. That's still too expensive for it, but I'm trying to think realistically as well.
It's not going to be. We're probably going to see it at about the $20 to $30 price point because we just have to look at the pattern of what Capcom has been doing when it comes to these ports on the Switch.
Right. And also the frustrating thing is that this, I'm sure, is just going to be DMC1 taken out of the trilogy basically and slapped on the eShop. That port is kind of a minimal effort port. It's got bad textures, some updated textures. It really doesn't look great.
My big question is there really a market for this kind of a thing?
Oh yeah, for the Devil May Cry series, for sure.
The very first Devil May Cry game on the Switch. I think this is something that nobody was really asking for.
No, I think that people were asking for it, actually. Just, they weren't asking for just the first game only.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, if this ever goes below $10 US, I'll buy it. But other than that, I can't justify buying this.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my PS2 copy.
Yeah. Also,
this is a very fun relic because the first game has so many Resident Evil connections, and I'm a big fan of Resident Evil. And of course, this game was a prototype for Resident Evil 4, and it was too weird. So they were like, never mind, make it into a different game. And that's what became DMC1. But with that knowledge, when you're playing the game, especially as an adult, and you look at everything that's going on, you just realize that the sound, the cutscene cinematography, so much stuff about it is very, very reminiscent of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And it's really only in that first game that remained.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was I don't know, I want to say borrowing an identity. They took parts of Resident Evil, but wanted to do their own thing because they realized the style was so different, but they still tried to incorporate what they could into the game. I'm still weirded out by the fact that this is coming out for the Switch. It's bizarre to me.
Yeah, and I mean, in that sense, I do like it. I do like that this would be on the Switch.
Yeah. Why bring the franchise to the Switch right now? If people wanted the game, they, like you said, they would probably want all three of the games together. So my question is, are they going to be doing anything more with Devil May Cry on the Switch going forward?
Right, and that's the weird thing too. If you're going to be piecemealing these out.
And also, we got to consider that this is now in direct competition with the Bayonetta franchise, which is even the remakes for those are going to be much more polished, and I feel we'll be able to hold up better on the Switch compared to the very first Devil May Cry game will.
So I disagree with you because even though Devil May Cry was created by Kamiya as well as Bayonetta,
Mm-hmm.
DMC1 really is not very similar to Bayonetta. DMC3 is, but it's just not fast-paced enough. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near competition. I'd say it's more complementary in that, hey, do you like Bayonetta? You would probably like DMC as well.
Yeah.
Nintendo recently revealed what their plans for E3 are. And it's not too shocking. We're going to have a Splatoon 2 World Championship happening on the 8th of June. Then Smash Ultimate World Championship happening right after that. Then on June 11th is the big Nintendo Direct at 9 a.m. And they didn't really specify, so I'm assuming that's local time in the West.
I think 9 o'clock Pacific time is what they said. Which is funny because I realize I have a dentist appointment that I now have to change. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah, super thanks, Nintendo, for the Direct. You changed that dentist appointment. Your teeth can rot, okay? There's Mario and Zelda to be had. Also, Astral Chain! Astral Chain! So it was interesting that they noted on the Nintendo Direct, they said that it focuses entirely on software, which I think is in direct response to all of the rumors in the last several months that says, oh, they're going to announce new hardware. Like, this is a way for them to be like, no, seriously. So temper your expectations, muffas, because that's what's going to be happening on the Nintendo Direct. Also, they said that it focuses entirely on games that are scheduled to launch in 2019 as well.
Going back to what you were saying about focusing on software only, I think Nintendo is kind of recognizing that this is the right play to have right now. I think the Switch is a little bit too young to be initially coming out, and even if it was like the enhanced one that's been rumored and...
Well, wait, are you saying that like Nintendo maybe had plans and then they pushed them back? Is that what you're...
No.
Okay.
I'm saying like...
Because I'll slap you. I that is illogical.
I don't think Nintendo had any plans on talking about their next console. And I think them kind of standing firm and saying, hey, we're just going to be talking about software. There's no new hardware that we're going to be talking about right now. I think that is a good call to kind of re-emphasize that point.
If there is an upgraded model or something, I don't think that that's going to come out before announcements of the Xbox and PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Because if Nintendo does want the Switch to sit in the same market as the PS5 and Xbox whatever the hell, they have to have some sort of response to it.
Yeah. Broadening our scope a little bit and looking at just the entire gaming industry when it comes to consoles, it's very strange that people are talking about new hardware, new consoles so soon. They just came out with the Xbox One X and the PlayStation Pro not too long ago. When those came out, they were toting off different specs on how these are the most powerful units that we've ever had. And now we're getting rumors about the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Anaconda don't want none. Like, I don't feel like technology has advanced that much.
I mean, we could talk about like what the advancements are because it's going to be more of like a diagonal step as opposed to just a straight step upward.
Yeah.
You know, they talked about basically loading things faster, streaming things faster, and that's going to be the future.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the direction that things like the PS5 are going to be going in, especially if some of the heavy rumors, I guess you would call them, are true. And in regards to like you talking about like with the PS4 Pro came out and the Xbox One X came out, I feel like neither of those made the impact that the makers were hoping they would make, particularly with Xbox. I think that they were really hoping that was going to be a big thing, but I don't think it was.
We haven't seen upgraded versions of consoles in the past. We've seen smaller ones. We saw the Xbox 360 go down to the Xbox 360S or whatever that smaller redesigned version was.
I mean, we have seen sideways steps, right? Like with the 360S, like they had like larger hard drives, and I think that with the PS3, when they did the Slim, the Wi-Fi was stronger or something like that, like the connection
Yeah.
ability. So we've seen steps like that. We haven't really seen...
If you get this console, you can now play this game at a higher frame rate.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen that before.
So the 3DS, though, the new 3DS came out, right? And that came out before the PS4 Pro. So that's the first one to do something like that I can really think of.
That's entirely true, but I'm going to backtrack a little bit when I say this. So the first time we really saw this kind of a hardware improvement was with the DS, the original DS, because they originally came out with the DS XL and then the DSi. And then they came out with the new Nintendo 3DS, which really kind of brought over those hardware improvements of the better tracking for the 3D, as well as the amiibo support, as well as extra buttons. I mean...
It also had better processing power as well.
Mm-hmm. And better internet, too.
Yeah. I remember in particular Monster Hunter 4 benefited from the processing power.
Mm-hmm. The upgrade from the 3DS to the new 3DS, that was a warranted change because Nintendo was trying to do something new with their handheld market and their entire company with that amiibo support. I think they really wanted to try to focus on that.
Yeah, but I don't think it was taken advantage of. I have a new 3DS XL, and I can't think any time that I used any of the features that I could have used in my regular DS. Even the extra buttons thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't really implemented all that much. I mean, Monster Hunter, for sure, but I'm not a Monster Hunter player. If you play Monster Hunter, you need those extra buttons and you need that C-stick.
Well, they tried to make it accessible. I remember I actually have an NFC amiibo reader for the original 3DS. But I think I only used it once or twice because I thought it was a little bit cumbersome and I was just like, okay, forget this, whatever. Now, with everybody talking about the new console coming out, I'm thinking more along the lines of what could possibly happen with the PlayStation and with the Xbox, and what would the changes that Nintendo could make in response to this.
Well, that's why I put that on the docket for later. We got a schedule, Galen.
Sorry, I realized I went a little tinfoil hat there.
So anyway, we're trying to talk about E3 plans that Nintendo has where they're focusing on software and we ended up talking about hardware.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
So in addition, after their Nintendo Direct that they're going to have, there's going to be 3 full days of Treehouse Live, where they're going to display gameplay and interviews on a whole bunch of games. Now, I was thinking about what are the big games that are coming out in 2019. There's a ton of them. As I started to write them down, I was like, oh, that's right, this game. Oh, damn, this game too. And there's a whole bunch of other games that I'm sure are not on the list, but I'm thinking about very Nintendo-specific ones here.
Mm-hmm.
Animal Crossing, Astral Chain. What up? I love Astral Chain. Luigi's Mansion 3, Mario Maker 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Daemon X Machina, Fire Emblem, Cadence of Hyrule, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Link's Awakening. Those are all 2019 games.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we're going to be getting a whole lot of new announcements considering the amount of games coming out already and announced already. So PSA to everybody, my opinion is seriously put your expectations on the floor with that. Don't expect more than like one new announcement because there's already a lot of games here. I'm thinking that this E3 Direct is not going to be surprising.
I don't know. I think that we might have more surprises in store than what was...
Don't do that!
Yeah.
Don't do that! You are going to do the thing it's like, oh, they didn't announce...
I'm not going to do that because I'm not putting any expectations on there. However...
My expectation is that...
I do feel like a handful of those games that you were just talking about could very easily be wrapped up in about 30 to 45 seconds of trailer time.
I mean, they're going to have to be. There's too many of them there.
Well, I mean, you're looking at Super Mario Maker 2. you're looking at Marvel, you're looking at, I believe, Cadence of Hyrule.
Mm-hmm.
All those are games that are going to be coming out around June.
Mario Maker's July. Ultimate Alliance, I think it was July as well. I feel like it comes out like a week after Mario Maker. The back end of their year is super front loaded. Huh? Front loaded? Back loaded. So anyway, I'm saying like don't expect too much. Do not expect Metroid. Do not expect Bayonetta. Do not expect Shin Megami Tensei 5. You're just getting yourself hurt, girl.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself get hurt. Oh god, that sounds terrible. That sounds like Peppa Jack does not want to slap a hoe. Like that kind of thing. So, don't make Peppa Jack slap you.
Go make it of my money.
But also we have to remember that at E3 we might be seeing other people's conferences have Nintendo games such as Bethesda, Ubisoft, Devolver, Square Enix. I almost said Squaresoft. Clearly I'm in that mindset all the time. So we might see something from them as well. And there's several others.
I'm going to be really excited to see Elder Scrolls Skyrim just playable with a single Joy-Con, and it's still the same price as the regular game.
To get back in the good graces of people, I feel like Bethesda might announce like, oh, Oblivion Remaster or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, I can't imagine what are they going to be showing off and announcing at E3. It's not going to be Skyrim.
I haven't even checked. Are they doing a press conference this year?
Yeah, I'm almost positive. I mean,
God.
From a website, our website that I looked at, I'm pretty sure. It makes sense. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, it makes sense that Nintendo would backload their year with games because that's when the majority of sales happen. We saw in their financial results, November and December. In those 2 months alone, about half of the entire year's sales, at least in North America, happened then. So It makes sense, but it's like still like a little too packed, I think, in the back end of their year.
Well, and also remember they don't necessarily have to talk about everything. Nintendo has built themselves this, I'm going to say this word again, ecosystem, where they can spread out their announcements and their full-on details a little bit more. Like, I would not be surprised if we just see a brief mention of Pokemon Sword and Shield, because we're probably going to be getting a Nintendo Direct later this year on that when we get closer to that launch date.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I think there's more room than a lot of people realize as far as like what we're going to see and are we going to see any surprises.
Don't do that. That's what I'm saying. You are fueling the fires of people that are like, I can't believe they didn't announce anything else. And they're like, this is the worst Direct that they ever had. And it's like, actually, it's filled with a whole bunch of good stuff. It's just that you knew about the good stuff already. So it was a little bit lacking in surprise. But, oh, God, I can't get over sensationalism. It's too much. It's too much.
Dreadful!
So we got some more information this week, straight out of Nintendo, that came from the Q&A session during their financial briefings. So Furukawa commented on cloud gaming. He said, quote, "The technology is steadily advancing. In the future, I expect that technologies such as cloud and streaming will evolve further as a way to deliver games to consumers. We must keep up with such changes in the environment. On the other hand, I believe that our core value, the unique entertainment experiences that only can be achieved through the development of integrated hardware and software, will further increase in value. Delivering unique entertainment that only Nintendo can create will continue to be our top priority." End quote. So he acknowledges cloud gaming and he acknowledges that it is a main method in the near future.
Yeah.
It's very much a Nintendo-esque response.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is not a bad mindset to have toward cloud gaming because, as I've said before, internet need go faster in so many key markets, such as North America.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to what you were saying earlier, with like the new Xbox and the new PlayStation, streaming and cloud gaming is going to be a huge thing for them, especially for, and ironically, the casuals. The PlayStation and Xbox is like, oh, that's where the real gamers play. But actually, not really. It's like, there's lots of people that just own like 3 PlayStation games and they have a PS4 for, 6 years now or whatever. So the people that have FIFA and whatever, I think they're going to be okay with like, oh, okay, I have to stream it now, like whatever. But lots of gamers who are dedicated are like, I'm not going to buy a subscription service only to play this game. Some will, but I don't think all of them will. Like, we still hear lots of people saying they will not buy from the eShop or the PlayStation Store or whatever. They want everything physical, right? So
Yeah.
that mindset is still there.
I think the Nintendo, especially for the Switch, is in a very interesting position because when it comes to cloud gaming, because the console is portable. If you're going to be focusing and trying to incorporate cloud gaming, you have to do it in a way where you can reliably always have access to that system. And the entire draw of the Switch is, hey, I can be playing a game, literally pick it up and start leaving the house with it or something. And I feel like that is part of the hesitation on wanting to commit fully to it right now. And I'm glad that they did acknowledge it. It is something that they are thinking about, but I don't think they're going to be focusing on it because of that reason.
Well, I think with the Switch, the hardware is also not tailored toward cloud gaming, probably. And this is just my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a couple of cloud games like Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but that has only been released in Japan. Maybe it's been released in Korea as well. I'm not sure. But I mean, I played it, Resident Evil 7, and even in Japan, it's like, it still has delay input, and kind of doesn't work. So that's why I have hesitations on cloud gaming at this current moment. In the very near future, sure, but I'm thinking like 6 years from now.
Yeah.
So in addition to those comments on cloud gaming, Furukawa also talked about the Nintendo Switch Online, and he says that he wants to expand it even further, and Nintendo needs to continue offering elements like Tetris 99 that highlight the distinct value of Nintendo Switch Online. I sort of agree with this, but rather than highlight, I think you need to add value. Currently, there's not a whole lot of value. It is a cheap service. That's great. That's what it's got going for it. However, I mean, the internet sucks. The connectivity is just the same exact stuff that we had before. You're paying for peer-to-peer as well, which is weird. So, I mean, I'd like to see more smaller games like Tetris 99 being released for free if you're subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online. What about you?
Absolutely. Like, I have gotten so much playtime out of Tetris 99, and I didn't think I was going to be that invested in it. I'm not going to say it necessarily, like, makes me go, oh, I'm so glad I have Nintendo Online because of this thing, but I'm not unhappy that I have it because of that thing. You know what I mean?
What a way to live your life.
I feel like I'm going to be like everybody else on this one, but I would love to see them expand on the Netflix a little bit.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Maybe throw in the occasional like Super NES game in there, like maybe one every couple of months or something, just to start to build up that library and make it seem more appealing.
No, that's too slow, because what are you gonna, like, we have to think about the lifetime of this console, right? I know that you have to budget these things out, but also if we're just going this slow and we're only getting like some NES games, like 2, maybe 3 per month, what about SNES games? What about 64 games? And so on. The Switch is fantastic for portable play and taking the games with you and all that junk. I want all my stuff on my Switch. Just give it to me, even if I have to piecemeal buy it like the Virtual Console, that's fine. Like, whatever, just put the stuff on there so I can buy it because I want to buy it. I'm not going to buy it in the very last year of the Switch's life cycle in several years from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, like, we're also talking about free games that they would be able to be put out. Like, I can see them putting out a couple of Super Nintendo games with their... What is the actual name of it? I feel
just
terrible.
Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch Online. And then when it comes to, you know, GameCube games, Nintendo 64 games, things like that, start to bring that through on the eShop.
But then that's so weird because then you have that disparity between, okay, NES and SNES games are free for the Nintendo Switch Online, but then 64 and GameCube are purchasable individual. It's weird. And It's another, like, if that was even going to be the case, I could see Nintendo doing that because it's just another thing that Nintendo didn't think things through thoroughly.
This is also the first time that Nintendo has given out free games, too. Like, you didn't see free
It's
NES
not
games.
free, though.
Well, okay.
It's a subscription service.
Yeah. This is the first time that we've seen a library of games to choose from.
Mm-hmm. I do
through
like that
Nintendo.
concept. I do.
Yeah.
But
So,
it's got to be something that can suddenly work in the future on the next console or something like that. You know what I mean? It can't be
Yeah.
like, ugh, we have to start this all over again. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, those are the problems of having to switch hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the whole Nintendo Switch Online service thing, like, I'm still waiting on those exclusive deals that they talked about when they first were promoting the service. Maybe they'll do like an E3 sale and they're like, oh, if you're a Nintendo account holder, then you will get an additional 10% off or whatever. Like, they have not done anything like that. And that was
Yeah.
part of the pitch.
I wouldn't mind a couple of discounts on mine, on my
Yeah,
games.
Exactly. It's just Nintendo stumbling once again with services. Ugh, I don't know. It's just like, come on, Nintendo. You've gotten so many other things right. Why are you getting this one wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Again. All I can say is, like, it's great price. It's a great price. And I mean, even for the family plan, I'm only spending $5 a year because I'm in a family plan with friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I can't complain about the price. I can't complain about, like, the value for my money. But for other people who are paying $20 per year, which is still cheap, and me too, still have valid complaints about online connectivity in major games like Splatoon and Smash.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff should be as near immaculate as it can possibly be because you're paying for the online service.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to that, Furukawa also mentioned in the Q&A on why they are partnering with Tencent for the release of Nintendo Switch in China. So I'm going to read this quote out because it's pretty well succinct. He says, quote, "It is because Tencent holds one of the largest positions in China's network communication and game marketplace, which we think will allow us to maximize the expansion of our business there. In the past, our dedicated video game systems like the Nintendo DS and Nintendo 3DS were sold in China under the brand of our consolidated subsidiary, iQue, but we cannot say those were a great success. With that in mind, we decided to work closely with a local company to do business in China." End quote. So, I mean, that all makes sense, right?
Yeah. To be completely honest, it sounds like a very straightforward and logical business decision. Like, especially for someplace that is as hard to get into as China is. Playing ball with the biggest contender over there just seems natural.
Yeah. Furukawa has a lot to say on the topic, so you can read the whole thing there, but the takeaway is that they don't know when they will be able to launch in China, so its impact is not included in their 2019 sales forecast.
Yeah.
They don't anticipate the launch to be remarkable as well, considering the primary areas like North America, Europe, Japan. They've all been built over the course of 30 years of brand recognition.
Mm-hmm.
China is not a short-term plan, but it is also something that they'll be working on steadily over multiple years. They also acknowledge the struggles that they're going to have because the Chinese gaming market is almost all mobile and PC, so they know they've got their work cut out for them. I think that that's a great message to be sending, especially at a financial briefing and investor Q&A, where people are like, so how much money are you going to be making in China? And then they're like, no, probably not a lot, because here are all the difficulties. We are going to go our hardest at this, but it's not going to be like gangbusters out the gate.
Yeah. I love how almost brutally honest and just upfront they were on everything as far as expectations are concerned.
I agree. I like that Furukawa talk like that.
Yeah.
We've talked about in the last couple of weeks China and Tencent as well.
Don't worry, everybody. China's not going to steal your gold coins.
I mean, they might be. Like I said before, maybe they're doing that, but the point is that they already have that. They already got your information. It's not anything to do with the Epic Store or Nintendo partnering with Tencent in China. because Tencent already owns all these other companies, portions of all these other companies. They got their information. They already got it.
They already got your gold coins.
They already got your gold coins. You know what? I'm going to sell your information to China. I speak Chinese. 你好，我会说中文. I'm going to sell your information. I don't care. I need to make that paper. I need to make that yuan. So let's go on over to our additional DLC for this week. Galen, what you got to share with the people this week?
This week, I've got an oldie but a goodie.
Oh, I love oldie but goodie.
So I've been a little bit nostalgic playing Phoenix Wright, so I went back and rediscovered one of my favorite 2007 series, and that is Phoenix Wrong. This was originally created by a Newgrounds animator. I'm dating myself by just saying Newgrounds, by the name of Ashford Pride. And what he did is he basically took all the sprites from the first Phoenix Wright game and just had fun with it. I mean, if you've ever seen those like AMV hells that they used to do, where it's a bunch of anime clips just dubbed over with whatever sound bites from whatever media that they can, this is the exact same thing, just with Phoenix Wright characters. And it's so much fun just to go back and, like, especially if you know about the game and you can see like the characters that they use. Sometimes it has like a hidden meaning with the storyline, sometimes it's just completely out there and they just wanted to use the sprite. But regardless, it's a lot of fun. This actually inspired a slew of different videos, so it's really easy just to go, oh hey, there's another one right there, and another one right over there, and oh my god, why is it 3 hours? You know, where did my day go? Like, that's very easy to happen when you start watching these guys. So, the link I have in the description is actually for the original Newgrounds posting for Ashford Pride. You can also find the videos on YouTube. As far as I know, the animator did not bring over any of the stuff. This is captured footage from other people. So I did definitely want to give credit to Ashford Pride for his work on that one. So check him out. It's a lot of fun. And if you are familiar with the Phoenix Wright series, you can't go Phoenix wrong.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like... That was not a swing and a miss, but it was one of those swings where you spun all the way around, but then on the other spin around, you ended up hitting the ball anyway. So for me, my recommendation this week is a film. I'm recommending Suspiria, the 2018 sort of remake or reimagining of the late 70s film by Dario Argento. The 2018 version is so totally different from that late 70s version. It's almost like the complete opposite. This film has been super divisive, even among critics and audiences who like this sort of thing. I loved it to bits. I have not stopped thinking about it since I watched it last week. This film is a horror fantasy mystery set in Berlin in the late 70s, post-World War II, right across from the Berlin Wall. It is about a dance studio run by witches that cast their spells through modern dance, and there is also a power struggle within the dance studio.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good lines in the film as well. Tilda Swinton is in it. God, I can't believe I forgot to mention her. She's brilliant. She was talking about like the choreography in this one scene, the choreography for an upcoming dance that the performers are practicing for. And she says, and because of the era that they're in, this makes perfect sense. She says how art can never be beautiful again, so we must break the nose of everything beautiful. And I was like, oh, so good. So good. So this film has a whole bunch of really gruesome and disturbing scenes in it that are so incredibly well done. Some of the most violent things I've seen in film before. So if you are a introspective weirdo like myself who likes art and abstract things, I highly recommend you watch this film. It is on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
So disturbing. I loved it. Can't stop thinking about it. Now let's move on to some listener mail.
Listener mail. Short and sweet this week.
Yeah, that's good.
It was a jingle. Ba-da-boop, boom.
For adventure!
So if you have an email that you want to send us and we'll talk about it, send us your email at nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
That email one more time is nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com. And Oni, you remembered it this week. Awesome.
I did remember it. Hey, Galen, if I want to send an email, can I just send it to Nintendo Everything?
There are a couple of different ways, but...
No, you're supposed to say no.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's do this the other way. How about you
Okay.
ask me the question?
Ask you the question.
The question I just asked you!
Okay. So, Oni, if you want to also send an email to Nintendo Everything, is the Gmail the only way you can do that?
Okay. This is all staying in. By the way, we are both confusing each other because I don't think you're understanding. The point is that you need to send that email to Nintendo Everything Pod. It can't be any other email. It can't be anything else. You gotta say Nintendo Everything Pod@gmail.com. Because if you send us an email and we didn't read it, that means that you probably sent it to the wrong place.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We probably should have, coordinated with that a little bit more beforehand.
This is all staying in. Anyway, if you email to nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com, your email might sound a little something like Leanne's.
So, Leanne writes...
Oh, we had to shorten it. So I'm sorry. Leanne,
Yeah.
we had to shorten it. It was super long. We both read it, though. We loved it. Thank you very much. But we are shortening it down to the pertinent points. So, Galen, take it away.
So, Leanne writes, "Hi, it's me again. I just finished listening to your podcast, episode 26, and I just had to write in and say thank you. Thank you for giving me hope that not all Persona fans / Nintendo Switch fans hate Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers. I literally thought I was the only one. I legit screamed and jumped all around my apartment when I saw it. I quickly found out that everyone else is, quote, disappointed by this reveal, and now I'm scared that it won't sell very well and Atlas would stay away from making fun spin-offs. So, my question is, do you think people will come around by the time the game launches, or is it doomed from the start to fail for being different in a new game instead of a boring port? Thanks, Leanne."
Thank you, Leanne.
Oni, what are your thoughts on this one first?
So I don't think it's doomed by any means. There's just a lot of very vocal, disappointed people. It's also a Warriors title. There's very vocal fans against Warriors titles. There's lots of people that play Warriors titles as well. There is bound to be backlash for this kind of game. Being off the heels of the actual game not being announced for Switch is what's weird and is what's hurting it. I think that most people are going to chill out, and I think that this game will do fine on Switch.
Absolutely.
As long as it is a good port. Like, if it plays like crap, then that's going to hurt it.
Yeah. I don't think that the state and the controversy that the game is under right now will necessarily have an impact on it when it comes to the game selling. I think just like you said, if the game is bad, it's probably not going to sell very well regardless. But if the game is great, I don't think that this current, quote, disappointment is going to hinder it by any sense. I feel like the people who are kind of up in arms right now, and I'm even going to say who were up in arms, because I still actually don't hear that much complaints about the series, in recent news. So, and this is even 2 weeks old. I think this is a situation where the fans who really wanted it were the most vocal, but they were by far the minority at the time.
Yeah.
To answer the question, I do not think it is going to affect the actual sales of the game when it comes around.
I'm in agreement as well. I'm hoping that Atlas does bring Persona 5 proper over to Switch because it just makes sense.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I don't think that this is going to hurt it.
Yeah.
Like, in my very personal opinion, which is a redundant statement, I own Persona 5 already on PlayStation. I wasn't going to buy it again. So I'm so excited about P5S. Like, I love Warriors titles. As soon as I saw that, I didn't have quite the reaction that Leanne had, but when I saw that, I did audibly go, what? Awesome, you know? Because that's exactly what I want, and I'm going to be buying this right away. Like, hell yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Muso. Persona
Very
Muso.
cool.
So thank you, Leanne, and send us. Don't you laugh. Don't you embarrass me in front of those Tanooki suit wearing Goombas. They're a bunch of cuties. Send us the email, nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
That email one final time is nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
So what's coming up, what's coming out on nintendoeverything.com? There's going to be some exciting stuff happening this week. I can't talk about it just yet, but got some really cool features coming up. I just came back from a trip, can't talk about it, but got some cool exclusive content coming in the middle of the week. So stay
Nice.
tuned to nintendoeverything.com. Also check out my Twitter because I'll be tweeting about it there. We're going to be putting stuff up on our YouTube. That's youtube.com/nineverything. And then my Twitter is @Oni_Dino. And maybe I'll put something up on my Instagram as well. That's Oni__Dino. Galen,
Yes, Oni.
where do you tweet and creep?
I do all of my creeping and tweeting at Mobius087 on Twitter.
So once again, subscribe to us because you're not subscribed to that other guy anymore.
It's it's not mutual, right? It's not like you have a certain number of subscriptions. This isn't like Twitch.
No, it is. There's a reason to tell people to subscribe again more.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely subscribe, but it's not like you can
Shut up.
subscribe as much as you want.
No, you only can do so many things in this world.
Oni, do you know how to internet?
Listen, I've had enough of that sass. All right.
I promise nothing.
Yeah. You should promise nothing and then expect less from Galen.
Hey, you know what? I've got only up to go from here.
Oh, that's positive. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big mood. Is just optimism.
Yep.
So stay optimistic by giving us a rating. That doesn't make any sense. Like, rate us on whatever you're listening to. Shut up.
I like that segue. You know what? No, I like that.
I forced it super hard, but you know what? I don't care. Peep that. Peep out on tweets and
What
tunes.
was it any worse than my Phoenix Wrong joke earlier?
Oh, way worse. Like, this is where everything is crashing and burning, and only our true fans who stick to the very end of the podcast get to experience our true selves. So it's actually super redundant. We should probably be saying this somewhere near the beginning, because if you guys are listening here, you probably are the ones who are already liking and subscribing and whatever and sharing and all that junk. Like, I don't need to tell you guys. You guys are the real ones. You guys are the MVPs.
Mm-hmm. I think they're still sticking around because they're hoping for that special shiny version of the podcast that Eric mentioned so many episodes ago.
Holy crap, I forgot.
Yep.
Why do you go back and listen to all of our old podcasts, and how frequently do you do that?
I don't. I just remember really weird things that come up at very odd moments.
I feel like that's wasted space in your brain.
It probably is. I should probably seek actual therapeutic help. But I'm going to say optimistic when I do it.
For what?
Hey.
All right, that's enough out of you. For everything Nintendo,
Stay tuned to Nintendo Everything.
bye-bye.
Later, everyone.